Aloha everybody, Rhonda Smith Sanchez here. I work at Coldwell Banker Island Properties in Paia as a real estate agent, and I specialize in Maui's North Shore, especially Haiku, Paia, Makawao, Pukalani, and Wailuku. Anyway, I'm here to talk to you today about dividing, not subdividing, but dividing. And the most popular way to do this right now is to be using the process known as CPRing. And I want to talk to you about how this will affect you as the seller and especially how it will affect you as the buyer. Okay, so what does CPRing mean? It's condominium property regime. And what that is that's everybody coming together and creating an understanding of how we're all going to live together on this land. And what it means initially is you have to all live by county codes and state codes. So let's just take a piece of ag property, because this is where it happens the most in Hawaii, especially on Maui's North Shore. And let's just take this land and let's actually just say we are going to, before we CPR, we're going to build our main farm dwelling, which is depicted as our house. That's our main house. That's where the farmers are going to live, the owners are going to live, and it can be of any size. And then you can build a barn of any size. Now the house, you can live in it, okay? The barn you cannot, according to the county. Then the next step is you go, you know what, we have lots of people coming. Once you own a house in Hawaii, you never know how many friends you have. So you build yourself an ohana, and that can be no bigger than 1,000 square feet. And once it's 1,000 square feet, it's set. You can't add on to it according to county rules. So you get advice later on to divide the property, to sell off a piece of your property, okay? And to do that, you all of a sudden get this survey, and you get a CPR survey, and you're going to draw a line. Let's say it's just below the barn. So one half of the property has the house and the barn, and then the other part has the ohana. People have to know that that cottage/ohana can't change. We still have to abide by county and state law. Nothing changed. The underlying property still stays according to county rules. One part doesn't get special treatment and the other part gets special treatment. It's still viewed as one whole piece, applying the same rules of county ordinances, zoning, and so forth. Okay, now that you've heard about the CPR process and you've decided that you want to do it, how do you do it, and kind of what does it mean to you as the person that wants to divide their property like that? Well, first and foremost, you have to get an attorney, because you basically have to create a condominium regime. And what this means is this is an agreement between two parties and how they're going to live on the land, which brings in the fact that there's going to be common areas, common driveway, maybe there'll be a well that's shared, because when you have this type of scenario, you're sharing driveways, you're probably sharing electrical, you're sharing water, and you can't actually share county water. County will give a piece of property one water meter, and they don't allow you to sub-meter that. But if in Haiku we have an awful lot of catchment and we have an awful lot of wells, and people tend to have a catchment set up on the property, or they have a really large water meter and it will allow them to supply, because each water meter is given a certain amount of fixtures, and that's a whole nother video, and you can't go over the amount of fixtures that the county allows per water meter. So let's go back to the CPR. What does it mean? Well, you're going to have to get the property surveyed, and you're going to have declarations drawn up, bylaws, house rules. How do you park? Do you park over here? Do you park over there? Because two different owners have to get along. And it works a lot of times when you have larger parcels and someone can divide off an acre, 2 acres, 3 acres, because the CPR size of the lot can be quite large. It doesn't really matter. But it's very important when you're looking at CPR property as a client wanting to buy property in Hawaii, that you look around and check the neighbors out, and you ask, what is shared? What do we share? Do we share the garbage cans? Do we share the garden that we all are going to get our fresh vegetables out? Do we share the view? Is there a view line? Are you going to grow trees up in front of my view? There's a lot of questions, and you need a good agent that will ask these hard questions. Also, something something that I think a lot of people don't ask and maybe don't realize is that if a property is non-conforming, if you're going to create a CPR property, there cannot be anything non-conforming. There can't be anything illegal going on. There can't be anything built that was built without a permit, or you won't be able to get the CPR status. Okay, let's say everything's legal going into it, but then later on, time goes by and you're living in your CPR property, they're living in the other unit, and they decide to build something without any permits. They decide to put a pool in, add a deck, add a room, enclose the garage, add a bathroom, do all these things that, you know, randomly can happen in Hawaii. Well, these things are married to your CPR, the property that you're on. If one person has a liability issue, you do too. So you really want to be married to the person that you're going to be purchasing this CPR property from. You really want to see it have the declarations in order, have the bylaws in order, and really have a legal foundation for everyone to go forward on. So I highly recommend that you bring in an attorney that specializes in CPRing property or helping people buy CPR properties. So let's just summarize this. As a buyer going into a CPR property, and let's say you're just see, this is perfect little grass shack or a perfect little cottage for me to have in Hawaii. This is what you need to look for. You need to ask, what do I share? 2, you want to see a map of the condominium regime. You want to see a map of the condominiumized land, because everything on that map is going to show the common areas of what you share, the easements for each property, because maybe something's coming across the property lines. You're going to want to see the declarations, and that's going to show you ownership, and it's going to just show you it's basically going to also describe by a survey all the different parts that belong to you. And also you want to see the house rules. And these are just rules, you know, no smoking or no dogs. You need to check these things out. And any questions, you want to ask them beforehand and know what you're getting into when you get into a CPR. A good real estate agent on Maui's North Shore is going to actually bring these questions for you up automatically and maybe have these answers for you the day that you ask, how's this property? It looks so great. Okay, well, I hope this helped you. And if you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to me. I'm at Coldwell Banker Island Properties in Paia, and you can always call the office at 579-8000, 808-579-8000. Have an awesome day and aloha.